Posture test. Oh, the glasses are reflecting? I can take them off.
Can ABC come and mark?
Shane, first of all, can you believe that you are sitting here and we're having this discussion?
It's been a bit of a whirlwind the last couple of months, but awesome to be here. Yeah.
So how many times, you can tell a truthful answer or not, how many times a day or how many times a week do you think and reflect on Chicago?
Yeah, it's been a lot recently, mainly because people keep bringing it up. Like, I can't believe how many people watched that race and, you know, reached out and stuff. It was very cool.
And the reaction back home?
Yeah, I think it's like a Monday morning over there, and most of the teams were watching the race, and yeah, so it's pretty awesome to get so many messages, yeah.
Obviously it is real, but now, several weeks on, does it feel real, and have you taken the time to absorb and actually comprehend what you achieved?
Yeah, it's pretty special. Like, it was obviously a perfect scenario for me, joining in a car that's reasonably similar to what I'm used to, but a street circuit, which is new for everyone, and you know, you're sort of on a level playing field to everyone, or close to level. So yeah, for me it was a perfect way to join the series, I guess, have my first race, and yeah, to come out and win. Like, I didn't expect to be that far up, but it worked out well.
As a championship caliber driver, as a big event winner, it's in your DNA that you expect to win, you drive to win, you put that pressure on yourself. Did you realistically think you could win?
Honestly, I had no idea, but I did as much prep as I could. I tried to
Which wasn't much, by the way, was it?
Oh,
like, you had it was pretty quick, you know.
Driving-wise wasn't too much, but yeah, I did as much as I could, so I'd be as ready as possible, but where I was going to stack up, I had no idea. Like, I tried to look at, you know, how Marcus went, Juan Pablo, guys who had come from the outside, but that was so long ago, I guess. Yeah, I really had no idea where I was going to be. So when they start rattling off my position in practice, I thought, oh, we're okay here, because they said I was in third and I was still really building up. So it was pretty surprising, but very cool as well.
And in the weekend, say once you've done first practice, or even leading up to that, what was the interaction like with other drivers outside of your team?
Yeah, like, it was pretty cool. You bump into people. We were all staying in the same hotel just across the track, and try and introduce myself. And I'd met Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson before, and yeah, it's good to see those guys again. But a lot of the drivers, I don't think, knew who I was, or you know, they'd heard of me from Supercars but didn't know what I looked like or whatever. So, or didn't expect me to be up the front. So it was pretty cool.
A lot of people have said, because you and Scott McLaughlin, Team Penske IndyCar driver, come from the same country, were both supercar racers, pretty decent rivalry in supercars in Australia. A lot of people assumed you seeing him come to the United States and him doing well, that was a motivating factor for you. True or false?
It is now, I guess, motivating. At the time it wasn't. I just, you know, saw what was happening with the Project 91 and what Kimmy did, and you know, what Justin's sort of motivation or ambition was with the project. That was separate, but you know, coming here, I had dinner with, or lunch with, Scotty and Carly, his wife, and saw what life's like here, and you know, Scott was just so encouraging. You got to come over here and have a crack. So now I've seen what he's done, how he's adapted to life, and how successful he's been, and you'd love to emulate that, I guess.
You have wowed people because of the significant accomplishment, right? And the historical angle of what you did. Coming in, on debut, boom, win. Yes, it's the same world, it's motor racing, but knowing, you know, because of where I came from and used to work in the world that you race in, they are worlds apart. So how did you bring those worlds together so efficiently and effectively?
Yeah, I guess the preparation I did, I watched as many races as I could and learnt as much about the car and the series and the rules, but the guys here at Trackhouse with Darian and also Zach, who was running the car, just as much information they could give me as possible. But yeah, when I got out there, I did a small test at Charlotte on the Roval, and yeah, the cars are pretty different. Like, you definitely feel the weight and the way it rolls and moves, so there's a lot to learn, but the simulator sessions were good, and then just time. But I guess on a street circuit, I was a bit more comfortable with the walls than some of those guys, and yeah, that's probably what helped me get up to speed, just being used to running so close to the walls on both sides of the car,
you amazed people and surprised people and intrigued people by what you were doing with your feet.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Well, I don't know what's to tell. It's normal to me. I always right foot brake and heel toe. It's what I've grown up doing. I only started left foot braking last year in a rally car. So yeah, to me it's normal, but I guess they don't do it here anymore. I know that they used to in the old car maybe, but yeah, I didn't get it. I didn't get what the infatuation with my feet was, but I'll be doing it again this weekend. Yeah.
It's fiercely competitive, like any sport, like any professional sport. Working in television, working with elite athletes, you know, my whole career, there's not a whole lot of patting on the back, well done, mate, when you're so fierce. But you got this plethora of compliments from your peers and your rivals and your competitors after Chicago. Were you kind of blown away by that? Yeah,
it was amazing. And even on the victory lap after the race, the cool down lap, everyone was coming past and hitting me and waving out. It was quite cool, or revving the engine. Like, everyone seemed so happy for it, which was an awesome experience. And then in victory lane, people coming up, and then just all the people that reached out. Like, it sunk in pretty quick how big of a achievement it was, I guess. But just such a cool experience. Like how everyone's so positive about it. It was really cool.
So you're off to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yep.
Talk about a special place to be racing this weekend. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Oh, it's just amazing to go there. I've never been there before. So yeah, it'd be cool to drive on a bit of the oval, I guess, but this weekend will be tough. It's a track everyone's driven at the last couple of years, and they really know it. And then watching the restarts from last year, it's just mayhem. I got a bit lucky, or it was a bit easier for me at Chicago with the single file, but Indy looks like it's going to be tough. All those restarts and how aggressive everyone is, and yeah, it's I'm in for a proper challenge, I think.
You feel like you're kind of a hunted man? You got a target on your back?
Oh, no, I don't think so. Everyone's doing the best for themselves, but for sure, more people will know who I am this time and make it a bit tougher, I guess. But again, I'm coming in at it's a tough time for the championship, I guess, with playoff time. So yeah, I got to come in and I'm going to try and do my best, but also I have to be respectful of everyone racing for their championship. Yeah.
So different track, different circumstances, and as you said, people know who you are. Does that mean you race differently? Do you expect they'll race you differently?
Honestly, I have no idea. I'll race the same. I tried to be as respectful as I could at Chicago, and I was letting people go when they were too fast, and tried to get them back later. But yeah, when I was coming through the field, everyone raced really cleanly, and it was awesome. So hopefully it's the same as that. I have no idea what to expect. Yeah.
Answer to the level and extent that you're comfortable with, but you kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit after Chicago, where you said, there's a definite endpoint to my Supercars career, and I'm intrigued by coming over here.
Yeah.
Why here? Why NASCAR? Why Trackhouse? Why now?
Yeah, I've obviously achieved a lot of stuff there, and I was pretty happy staying in Supercars all my life, but it's changed there a little bit in the last while, and then getting this opportunity with Trackhouse and Project 91, and then going as well as we did. I'd never been to an oval either, so I went to Nashville and just loved the experience and wanted to be out there pretty quick, and the race here went pretty well, just love to come and try it out. I'm under no illusions that the ovals won't be a huge learning experience and it'll take me a long time, but there's more and more road courses happening. The Chicago race went so well for the sport, so maybe there'll be more street races, and I see it as an awesome opportunity, and I loved being part of this team, seeing what Trackhouse is doing and listening to Justin about how he speaks and what his plans are for the future. It's pretty motivating and something I really would love to be part of. So maybe next year, or hopefully next year, I'll be here having a go.
You're going to get a warm up. Might not be a little warm up. You're going to get a warm up this weekend by doing truck race first.
Yep.
Is that indicative of maybe the path that you will take next year? We don't.
Yep.
I mean, if you were to come in and say I'm in full time, that would be amazing.
Yep.
But is it going to be a little bit, and work up to a full season eventually?
Yeah, we don't have a full plan yet, or I don't. But doing this week is just an experience, really. See what it's like. And I watched the race on the plane over, and it looked like a demolition derby the way they race. It's crazy, but apparently it's like that every week. So Yeah, I don't want to race like that and beat up a nice truck, but it'll just be interesting to see what it's like. Hopefully you can qualify somewhere near the front or in the pointier end so you're not in all the carnage. But yeah, I know it's going to be a tough initiation, that's for sure, especially coming into a later part of the season when everyone's raced so much and they're all up to speed. It's going to be very difficult, but yeah, I guess at the moment the opportunity Justin's given me, he's obviously, he's taken a punt, I guess, taking me on, but he's patient as well. He knows it's going to take time, so pretty thankful.
Will you delve into the advice pit from those who you know for the ovals, like maybe Marcus Ambrose, maybe Scott McLaughlin, even though Scotty hasn't raced NASCAR, but those who you know who have done some oval racing, will you lean on them a little bit?
Yeah, all those names you mentioned, but Marcus was so helpful initially as well, encouraging me to get over here and telling me how to fit in and how it all works. But he said on a text yesterday the experience he has at IRP, so I'll try and get in touch with him and just learn little tips about the track. But Marcus is awesome. His experience here and how open he is to help myself and others come through, it's really cool.
You've done a variety of category racing. So you mentioned rally before, and you did a rally just recently. You've done a bunch of sports car racing internationally. So it seems as though that you naturally push yourself in different types of racing. Is this a natural progression we can assume?
I think so, and it's just wanting to broaden the experience. And coming over here, you see the cars, they're relatively simple, I guess, in technology, but what they do upstairs, getting them, the engineering side, all the small things matter and all the details. And I see things as a fan watching on TV, but when you come and see in a race what goes on and all the fine details, what they do with strategy, racing, driver coaching, like it's so different and radical compared to what I'm used to. So yeah, just building the experience, getting to enjoy it and learning every week. Like you see these guys race so much, but the development trail is huge. Yeah.
It's one thing having something in your mind, a concept. There's another thing turning concept into reality. Is it a pinch myself moment at the moment?
Oh, it is, yeah. Like initially, getting to be the one to come after Kimi in the car. Like Kimi Räikkönen's such a huge name, and when you hear what Justin was saying, and to even be considered to be one of those drivers is pretty humbling. So yeah, now to be part of it and getting to grow, experience it again, and maybe more, it's like I'm living the dream at the moment.
I quite often ask the international IndyCar drivers, whether it be guys from Sweden, guys from Denmark, guys from the UK, whatever, when they achieve success, even your mate Scott McLaughlin for New Zealand, people are naturally talking about you, but kind of defaulting to Australia because that's where you live and race. But your homeland, you're not Australian. Your homeland of New Zealand, what's the response been like back home?
Well, it's been awesome, but unfortunately it's not on TV there, so hopefully it is soon. If you can help sort that would be great. But I think everyone found a way to watch it. But yeah, just the response has been good. There's never really been a Kiwi in NASCAR. I think Jim Richards did a couple of races, but nothing more. So yeah, I think it's awesome that they're all watching it now and getting enthused about it. It's pretty cool.
The decades tell us, history reminds us that for a small nation, New Zealand has produced some amazing drivers on a global scale. But you're going down this path, by yourself. Does that feel extra special?
I don't know if I think of it like that, but yeah, you definitely see on the world stage what the Kiwis done, like in Europe, and then the two Scotties in America, what they've achieved or achieving. It's pretty special to just help contribute, I guess, to the Kiwi history and be part of it. Like, yeah, it's amazing what we all achieve from such a small part of the world.
What would it be like if you get to kiss the bricks this weekend?
I don't know. I don't think about that yet, but I just want to be out there and hopefully be competitive. But I don't know about the end result. It'll be cool to just live that moment if it happens.
What will you do before you take the green flag? Will you be a fan for a moment at Indy? Will you take some time to yourself?
I was at Chicago, like when we're doing the intros and even the driver's briefing, like I was sitting beside Jensen and we were talking about it all, and just being a part of such an event on a scale that it all is here. Like I'm pretty good at living in the moment and taking things in, and I'm sure I'll do that this weekend.
So in Chicago, in closing, in Chicago, there was a lot of confusion and some difficulty in the pronunciation of your name.
Yeah.
So can you set the record straight?
Yeah, well, just Shane, it's easy, or SVG for those that struggle. Yeah.
Perfect. So you win Chicago, you make it back to victory lane. Take us from there.
Well, even before victory lane, when I did the burnout on the front straight and finished, and then everyone just ran onto the track. That's normally not allowed at home, and I got out and it was all the team guys, and then one of my friends who'd come from New Zealand, he was on the track with me. It was mayhem. And then when they said go to victory lane, and then they said, oh, do a burnout. I said, oh, with all these people, there was hundreds of people on the track. They said, yeah, go for it. So it's we're pretty safety conscious where I'm from, so here it was just let loose. It was awesome. And then in the victory lane, like, we're doing the hat dance, so many different hats and so many photos. Like, I think it was 2 hours before I was done with the media stuff. It was insane. I've never had anything like that before. And then when I finished and came out, it was empty. All the trucks had left, except for our ones waiting for us. Like, yeah, the way the circus moves around, it's crazy.
What did you do that night?
Yeah, I was awake until the early morning. Yeah. Yeah.
And you didn't have much time left here. You had to go back home, right?
Yeah, well, I was adjusting to the time zone to get back home. But yeah, it was. I was racing the next week in Townsville, so yeah, straight back on Wednesday. We landed. You lose a day traveling back to that part of the world, and yeah, then we went racing again.
And was that like a coming back to earth moment? Like that was reality again, or
Yeah,
did it seem somewhat like a dream?
No, I was dumped back to reality pretty quick when I was midfield over there. Like, yeah, the guys there are pretty good too. So, yeah, but you know, obviously everyone there had watched the race and everyone was congratulating me, and yeah, it was cool to go back. Yeah.
So, mate, I went home this February, for my mum's 80th birthday, and I was on the ground for 3.5 days in Australia, and then had to come back to go straight back to work. It's a grueling flight. It's a brutal flight, but you also have many hours, if you're not asleep, to think about stuff.
Yeah.
So what was it like coming and going back from Chicago? What was it like coming back now for Indy? What have you been mulling over?
I think it was 29 hours from leaving my house to the hotel, so a long trip. But yeah, I used it productive. I watched the race, both the Indy race in the NASCAR, the Cup, and also IRP in the truck. So yeah, I learnt a bit, but yeah, just trying to prepare. But I guess on the plane I was trying to be productive in the 29 hours of travel or whatever it was. But yeah, just watched the races, both the Cup race on the road track and the truck race at IRP. So studied as much as I could, and yeah, now I'm a bit jet lagged, but I'll be fine for the weekend.
Was it easier this time because you know, coming over for Chicago, a lot of black holes, a lot of unanswered questions. But you've done that, so you know what it looks like to a point, not racing at Indy, but was it easier somewhat this time?
In some ways, because I know what to expect from the car, and that Chicago race was so much anticipation, you know, not just for me, but the team and the series. Like, no one had been there before, whereas this one, there's a bit more past history for me to learn off. I can look at all the data and video and onboard and study a lot more, whereas Chicago was just a huge unknown, so yeah.
During the Chicago broadcast, my teammates, my colleagues on the NBC side were explaining to the audience where you came from and Supercars, but there would have been a big percentage of the viewership, which was a massive viewership, not really knowing or understanding where you came from. So what was it like transitioning from a supercar to a NASCAR, and what are the inherent differences?
It was decent in some ways there. I think these are 250, 300 kilos heavier. You might have to do the conversion there. But the biggest difference is you're on the left side of the car, swap sides, and then they don't have doors here. So you climb in through the window. It's quite different to what I was used to. And then, yeah, obviously the racing format is pretty similar, but we don't have spotters. Normally we're driving on the track by ourselves, and it's something I had to get used to. There was 3 different voices in my head, I guess, driving around telling me what's happening with the conditions, the track, and then who's around me with my racing. So yeah, very different style, I guess, and we do standing starts as well. So the rolling starts and the way the restarts worked were quite different to what I'm used to. And then the pit lane is what I struggled with, so, and something I have to get better for this weekend. We have a speed limiter, so normally I press a button and hold my foot flat. These things don't. You drive to a speed limit that you've set and try and hold that speed, which I struggled with a bit. You're obviously looking down at the revs, but you got to see where you're going and try and find your pit bay. So Yeah, quite a challenge. Yeah.
There was a lot going on.
Yeah.
Driving on the other side of the car, a lot of people made a big deal about that, but they didn't realize that you had already done that in sports car racing.
Yeah.
So that was a nice little secret that actually helped you.
I guess, yeah. I'm used to switching side to side. So in the GT cars, you're always on the left, and my rally cars are left-hand drive as well. So I'm used to it, but on a street circuit, it was a little difficult because you got all the car on the other side. So it took me a little bit to learn my reference points, you know, where the car was, because it's so wide, these NASCARs, yeah.
Hi, I'm Parker Kligerman. For more access like this from Pit Road, be sure to click and subscribe to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube channel.